All right. Hello, everyone. So today's theme that we're going to be discussing is the gap policy. When purchasing an automobile, how many of us actually understand the gap policy? So, as a finance manager, one of the questions that I would always go to the customer with, and again, if you guys don't know me, hashtag All Day Ray. You're on my social media, you're on my YouTube page, so hashtag All Day Ray, and been in the automobile industry almost a decade, right? Getting up there. But nonetheless, just a little explanation of an understanding of what a gap policy is. Gap, GAP. So whenever you're going into a dealership and you're making a purchase of a vehicle, if you are financing a vehicle, now I want you to understand, if you're financing a vehicle, not if you're paying cash for a vehicle. If you're paying cash for a vehicle, this conversation does not apply to you. All right. If you are financing a vehicle and you're going through the bank and you're putting maybe a nominal amount of money down, say, maybe $1,500, $2,500 down, but you're not putting a substantial amount of portion down to cover most of the vehicle that you're financing. Okay, we want to understand, if you're not putting up to 70% down on that vehicle, you probably should understand what gap is. All right. So with that being said, gap is actually, it's a protection in the event that if you get in the car and you drive the car off the lot and you just finance that vehicle and you're in an accident right then and there, your insurance company is not going to pay the full value of that car that you just brought brand new, though you just wrecked it only 5 minutes ago. Ah, so what's going to happen is your insurance company is going to only pay book value of your vehicle at that current time. And here's what happens: the remaining balance of what the insurance company does not pay for your vehicle is now whose responsibility? You got it. Your responsibility. So you would end up having to take in that money that is not paid for by the insurance company, and you either have to pay that money off before you can purchase another vehicle, or utilize that money as a negative equity going into another vehicle that you're about to purchase. And who wants to carry over negative equity into the purchase of another vehicle, of a vehicle that just got totaled? All right. So I gave you a quick speed along, but let's back up. Let's back up. So when I talk to a customer, one of the things that I ask the customer is, who are you insured with? And has your insurance company explained to you, has your insurance company agent explained to you your responsibilities in the event of a total loss? Well, nobody knows. Nobody really sits down with the insurance agent and really listens and pays attention to, hey, what is my responsibility in the event of a total loss? Well, do you know what? If you have collateral protection through your insurance company, you might want to sit with your insurance company and ask, okay, with this collateral protection that I have on my particular vehicle, what are my responsibilities? What is my role as a consumer in the event of a total loss? You might be surprised to find out that you have to pay a deductible. That's right. Someone ran into your brand new 2021 Toyota Highlander and they totaled it, and you are responsible to pay a deductible. In the event of a total loss, your responsibility is to pay a deductible to your insurance company in order for them to cover that collateral damage to pay your entire vehicle off. Interesting, correct? Okay. Here's why the gap policy with the dealership is actually, it's a blessing that many people don't know, people buck against and people fight against. Guess what? In a dealership, if you purchase gap from a dealership, here's what happens. In the event of a total loss, you go out on the highway and you're in your 2021 Toyota Highlander, someone crashes into you, they crush your car, the gap policy that you will get purchased from a dealership actually will pay up to $1,000 deductible for you in that scenario. The insurance companies will not tell you that, right? I over the years, I've had so many different insurance agents that actually came to the dealership and they purchased dealership gap versus going through the insurance company. Because what's the first thing that we say when we're talking to the finance manager or talking to the manager? My insurance will cover it. Great statement. Sounds good. My insurance will cover it. But do you know that your insurance company is going to charge you a deductible? Or have you spoke to them about it? right? So, the thing is if you're financing a vehicle, you do not want to be liable for any dollar amount in the event of a total loss. You do not want to have to pay out of pocket in the event of a total loss in order just to move along to the next stage of purchasing a new vehicle, and you definitely do not want to finance that negative equity going into the purchase of another vehicle. All right, so it's very important that when you're sitting with a salesperson in a dealership, ask them, does my payment include a gap policy? Ask them. Because if my payment does not include the gap policy, I would like to see what my payment is with the gap policy. And folks, we're only talking about anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks different in a car payment in order to secure you in the event of a what? An accident. And they're not on purposes. They're called accidents for a reason. We don't know when an accident is going to occur. So if you're financing a vehicle, protect yourself. Make sure that you're not paying for something that's getting towed on the back of a tow truck back in someone's junkyard, right? Make sure you're not paying for that anymore. Make sure that your insurance pays what they're going to pay, and GAP covers that difference. That's right. GAP will cover the remaining balance difference. GAP does not pay for the entire vehicle. GAP pays for the gap, how it got its name, the gap between what your insurance company will pay and what you're actually financing. There's a gap there. And that's what the gap coverage is going to cover. It's a guaranteed asset protection for that gap space, right? This is hashtag All Day Ray. I hope you've enjoyed this a few moments of just looking at why it's important to purchase gap policy when purchasing an automobile, when you are financing that vehicle. And with Toyota, if you decide to go with the Toyota brand or other brands that offer this when you lease a vehicle, be sure that you find out whether or not when leasing a vehicle if the gap option is available on a lease, because there are some vehicles that gap policy is on the lease contract and available to you. Make sure that you protect yourself all the way around. The manufacturers are going to protect themselves, so make sure you protect yourself. This is hashtag All Day Ray. I thank you for joining into my YouTube station, and I hope you guys got something from it, and hopefully I'll come back with some new stuff, new material, new thoughts, and if you guys have anything that you would like me to discuss, by all means, please let me know. Thank you so much.